Ooh, okay. Now let's talk about this guy, this Korach guy. Now, what's going on? What just happened? So Korach, basically, he's one of the he's one of the leaders of this whole endeavor over here, and he gets a couple of guys with him too, and he stands up to Moses, and he's like, "Hey," to Moses and Aaron, how come you are the leader? What makes you so special? Why do you get to stand up in front of everybody? Why do you get to tell everybody what to do? Why do you get to be, making all these decisions? We want to do that too. What? I'm just as good as you. We're all the same in the eyes of God. Why can't I do it? I want to do it. I want to be up in front of everybody. Why should you always get to do it, Moses? And what does Moses do when he sees that? He falls down on his face. He's like, "Oh my God, seriously? I need this right now? I need this right now? What's happening?" Korach is a bit jealous, if you will, right? Our commentators say that he's a bit jealous of Moses because he wants the attention on himself, right? He wants to be the one who is seen as being the leader, the one who is saving people, the one who's leading people to the promise. He wants to be the guy. He's like, "Why Moses? What's so great about him? I'm pretty good myself too." And Moses' reaction to this, he falls on his face and he's like, "Really? You think this is easy? You think this is fun? You think this is what I want to be doing? You think I want to be leading all these people and doing all this stuff? I mean, yes, but I didn't choose it. God chose me. I didn't choose this. This is really hard work. It's not just about standing up in front of everybody, right? It's not just about what you see, but it's all the work that it takes to do it. But look, Korach, if you want to go up against me, be my guest. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened to Korach in a bit. But again, little theme today, camp. So check this out. When we were able to be together physically at camp, there was a saying that was very popular. It was actually a word. It was a word. It was a no. What is it when a word, like each letter stands for a word and it's like a sentence? What does that think? What's that called? Acronym. Yes, an acronym. Thank you. An acronym. And you would hear this often at camp. And maybe you've heard this as well, because it really doesn't just have to do with camp, and it's pretty much very popular part of our vernacular. Whereas like YOLO. Have you ever heard that before? YOLO?
Yes, I have.
Do you know what it stands for, YOLO?
You only live once.
You only live once. You only live once. So you hear
YOLO.
this at camp. Yeah, YOLO. You would hear this at camp, right? And hear it when kids would be like trying something new. Maybe they were climbing the rock wall. They've never done it before, but they're going to climb the rock wall, or they're going up on some of the high elements. And part of the high elements, you have to jump, right? And like hit a bell, and then you fall, right? You're hooked to a line, but then you start falling. Or like YOLO, I'm going to go and talk to some new people and meet some new friends, right? Take a chance. The thing is, it was really only said this way a little bit of the time. Often, kids would say it, when making choices that might not have been the smartest, or a little bit more reckless and not really thinking about the consequences, like maybe sneaking out at night, or, doing something they maybe shouldn't have. They're like, YOLO, whatevs. You only live once. I'm going to go sneak out. I'm going to go do all these things. I'm not going to listen to my counselor. I'm not going to, right? So you would hear it during this kind of negative idea where, not really thinking about the consequences, not really thinking about how it affects them, how it really affects others, how it may affect their future. So it seems to me that really there are two kind of fundamental ways to look at this statement of YOLO, you only live once. The first is the all about me way, right? We can think of ourselves always and only first, not necessarily consider the worries or concerns of others or desires of those around us, really just kind of focusing on ourselves. We don't consider the needs of anyone else, right? We don't think about how our actions are going to affect not only us, but those around us, right? And, here we have Korach, who's like, dude, it's about me, right? Why should it be about Moses? No, 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 no. It should be about me. I need to be out in front. I need the limelight. I want people saying like, oh, Korach, he's pretty good. That guy, like that guy, right? He wants the accolades for himself. So he's making these choices that aren't about the community, but really only about the way that people look at him, right? He wants to be seen as, quote unquote, the man. And what happens when you think of, when we think about life in this way, like what happened to Korach, he's met with a fiery death, right? Where when he's going up against Moses, the ground opens up and swallows him whole with some of the other kind of people that he had following them, the 250 people. Out of those millions of people, there's 250 people that he is like, yeah, Korach, you're the best, man. You're the swallows him up, right? Because the choices that he makes, reckless, selfish. And then there's the other way of thinking of YOLO. Not just the it's all about me way, but rather it's all about us way. That before we act or make decisions, before we speak, right? That we choose to think about how our actions are going to affect others. We're going to think about how our words will affect others. We can think about how our behavior today will affect future generations, right? Our own friends, our own family, our own children, our grandchildren, our community, right? So when you think about, you only live once. So you have to make sure that those choices that you make are for the good and for the collective. So if we agree on this principle that you have one life, right? It kind of comes down to me. It sounds like it's about intonation, right, on the statement. So Cantor Peacock. So I'm putting you on the spot here, but let me ask you.
Okay.
What does this sound like when you hear somebody say, "You only live once"? What does that sound like? Their belief system.
That they're making fun of the concept and not taking seriously the words that are being used. That it's okay to make those kinds of decisions. It's okay to be reckless because after all, we only live once.
Yeah. So that's one form. That's one form, right? To hear it. So here's the other intonation of, you only live once. So what does that sound like?
That sounds like someone who respects the sanctity of life.
Mm-hmm.
And that the decisions that we make, because you can only make them once.
Yeah. Right. The profound effect. Like Moses, even in all of the whining and complaining of the people, it was never about him. Yes, of course he got frustrated and he was upset and lost hope sometimes, but it was still always about the people. I mean, we learned about that even, a few weeks ago, when even in the face of Moses being like, what are you guys doing to the people? He argues on their behalf to God, saying, look, if you're going to get rid of them, get rid of me, because we're all in this together. That's not how it works, God, right? Facing God, standing up to God for the people. It's not about him, but it's about the people, right? The choices that we make. So I think about us today, right? And the choices that all of us are making, right? In the greater community, right? You only live once. Why should I wear a mask? Why should I care about, people of color? Why should I care? Why should I do any of these things? Whatever, has nothing to do with me. I'm just going out there doing my thing. Don't tell me what I have to or can't do, because you only live once. Or that's a little Korach, or Moses when thinking about the community. Look, we only live once. So we have to think about how the choices that we make affect those around us, affect us today and future generations, right? The health of our families, the health of our communities, What type of people are our children going to be when they grow up with this beautifully diverse community of Los Angeles, people of color, people of different cultures, religions, right? Choices that we make affect not just us today, but our future generations. Because why? We only live once. So together, let's choose to make this life, this one life that we have, a life filled with meaning and purpose, altruism, vision, hope, and peace. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Yasher Koach, Rabbi. That was beautiful.